What's going on, people? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I just had to finish up this text message that I was gonna add here, and we are good to go. How is everybody doing? Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, actually, I would say, but since it's still bright out, it feels like it's the afternoon. Yeah, we used to do Thursday streams all the time with Rishabh, who should be joining shortly, I think. And we kind of missed it, so here we are. But yeah, settle in. I wanted to kind of follow up the video that I made yesterday, so maybe we'll get into talking more about that today. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Tell me, I don't know, tell me something. What's your week been like? Week's almost over anyway, so what have you been up to? Did you attend the Blazer session that I did on Tuesday? That'd be great to know. Yeah, well, we're gonna let some people come in, and then hopefully Rishabh gets here on time. I wanted to switch this this thingy here to maybe something like this one. This one here. That one looks cool. Alrighty. Where's your hat? Your camera turned off too.
Yeah, I bumped it.
Is that your mirrorless? The Sony whatever?
Yeah.
A61? No, A51?
A51, yeah. Oh, it died out of battery.
You don't have the dummy one?
No, I ordered it. It's still on the way.
Anyway, we'll let people filter in, and then we'll start chatting about something. Yesterday, Rishabh and I were talking about bag talk. Bag talk. We with Rishabh, we were playing this game last night. It's called Riders Republic. And then we started talking about the video that I had recently published, and then I thought it'd probably be cool to do a follow up, because I feel like I didn't put enough emphasis on certain things that I should have before publishing it, but I didn't want to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing for me was I feel because of me revealing what I make currently at the end, it was just once certain people heard that number, it was so easy to dismiss literally the 6 years before that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it was also it's kind of you hear that a number like that, and then you're I can make that money, I gotta get into this field kind of thing. But then you and me started talking about our nightmare situations of that we've been in, you and the whole gas station story. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but that just blew my mind.
Sure.
But yeah, the stuff that you put yourself through to make it, I guess, or to progress and stuff like that. It's it's not just hard work. It's a lot of luck. It's a lot of people helping you out. It's a lot of being at the right place at the right time. I don't know. I'll so many times I look back and I'm one thing differently, and it would have been just
the story would have been different
completely, right?
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
Yeah, so just reflecting on that, and then I don't know. We talked about a lot yesterday while we were trying to figure out that game.
Yeah, it's way past our bedtimes, but it was fun. It was fun.
You were talking about your gas station story. For me, it's still I woke up and I'm I can't believe you put yourself through that. But then it's also I've never been in a situation where I've had to put myself through something like that. Right? I that's why I can't for me, it's easy to be well, if if it would have happened once, I would have been like, all right, I'm out of here. But then I've like never had the need that you've had, that you've lived through and you've put yourself through to like, you know, oh, I got to keep doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It was hard. Definitely
and you're so
harder
mellow
now.
about it. So chill about it. You're like, yeah. It happened.
It happened. Yeah, shit happens, right? So
I like how that's your answer. It's like, which is why I understand like how, you know, you are so chill and like the majority of things of life, like not many things are an issue to you. I don't think I've ever seen you like lose your cool. And I think it's because like if you can sort of maintain your chill and all that between like those like life or death situations, everything else must become like, oh, it's like whatever, like, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, and that's, I don't know if it's a compliment or like, I take it as a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Yeah. I've been told at work too. Like, I don't know. Sometimes people seem it like I don't take it seriously. Sometimes.
Because you're so chill.
Yeah, because sometimes it's a huge deal, especially with these on-call stories that I have. But yeah, I don't know. It's just that things don't shake me enough. Like I just try to remain calm, because in the end of the day, you can only do like, you can only give 100% of your time, right, or your effort. There's not a lot that you could have done and that would have changed the situation. That's just my mantra. But yeah, no.
Yeah, you're like very stoic. You're like, oh, all right, it's like things that are out of my control, they're just out of my control kind of thing. Do we want to sort of give people context of what we're talking about?
Sure. Yeah. So yesterday, I don't know, we were trying to figure out this game, and we had like a 20-minute tutorial that we had to do for the game, and each of us was playing for the first time. So we ended up talking for those 20 minutes, and the conversation started with Gwen's video about her compensation that she recently posted yesterday, and
which I feel like makes feelings about it still, but we can get into that later.
For sure. And yeah, I just wanted to reflect on my kind of journey, because she did on hers, and we were just talking about like what kind of jobs or career progression I went through.
Yeah.
And that's when like my first job was as a cashier at a gas station here, and I was still a student then. I think I was 18 when I started the job. And yeah, it was first job, but the gas station itself was like it's not the greatest neighborhoods here in our city, and I was just going through like some training and stuff. But when I was given like the actual shifts, when I had to work individually as a paid person, I got all of them were night shifts. I think I worked 3 or 4 days a week. And during the night, like not every day, but I think like twice a month kind of thing, things would go crazy where you would have like bleeding people entering the gas station. And it just made me wonder, like, I would reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want me to call 911, or do you need any assistance?
You saying that, yeah.
Yeah. And I would be scared too, because they didn't look like the most friendly. Like they're bleeding. Like, how could they look friendly?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it only happened, I think, once or twice where like they would threaten me to like whatever I have to give it to them. Part of the training was that you just give what you have.
Yeah.
Like if they ask
don't
you
be
to
a hero.
open up the tail, don't be a hero. Don't try to be smart. Just do what they say, because nothing is important, like more important than your life. And yeah, I think just sharing those stories kind of showed, like, even now when I look back at it, and like so like just it's funny now, but like I've come a long way and have a lot of gratitude where I am right now. Um, those experiences, like the point that Gwen mentioned that I'm so chill right now, but I remember like my face and like I would shake when things like that would happen.
Yeah, of
And it,
course. Yeah.
yeah, and I would
Your
do
life.
that job. I did that job for like 2 years, and that's what Gwen was referring. Like I should have quit it earlier. The
Hmm.
only thing is, it's so I'm in Kingston, and it's a pretty small city,
Hmm.
and that's what I was talking to her about yesterday. Is that being a student, it was hard to find a part-time gig,
Hmm.
and that's why I ended up being there for like 2 years. But yeah, um, eventually the conditions changed. Like I started working day shifts, and um, like I got more and more professional in my job. Things started like they didn't affect me personally. The more I like learned, and it was just a phase that I had to go through, I guess.
A phase, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most people don't see the hard work that goes into it. They only see the end result. I think that is true, but whenever we talk about money, especially for me, it's like because I don't come from people who have ever made like this. I'm
Hmm.
like the first person to achieve something like that from anybody that I know, besides my best friend. Um, but my best friend isn't someone that I've known my whole life. Like we've met through work several years ago. So
Yeah.
it's so weird because I don't know like whose behaviors to sort of emulate, or in terms of like having these conversations.
Mm.
And I just always feel like there's just no way to talk about. I don't know, like in your culture, but with us, it's always been this like, oh, we just don't talk about money. That's the kind of thing. Like that's the things either left to adults or to the head of household or whatever. You don't question it, but like things are like investing or retirement
Oh yeah.
accounts or
Yep.
all the things. Is like it's just not. It's first of all not a thing.
Hmm.
It's maybe like you save money and that's it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like you're just so frowned upon talking about. And then also with like the things that are happening in the world and all that kind of stuff, and with people having to like I guess go back into jobs that could potentially put them at risk and all that kind of stuff, and it's like
Hmm.
talking about living working such a comfortable by I mean like physical and physically comfortable, like I don't have to go anywhere necessarily,
Hmm.
like working that kind of job, and also something that I truly do enjoy, right? And then I also making, in my opinion, a very high income.
Yep.
Also, like high is very relative. Um,
Hmm.
it's just like I sort of feel like, well, how dare I speak about these things, right? Why don't I just like sort of enjoy what I've
Yeah.
accomplished in like secrecy kind of thing? But I also feel like when I was getting started, I would have loved to know like what can I expect to ask, or like what are like similar ranges or
Hmm.
things like that. Now
No,
there are
for
things
sure.
like I think Glassdoor and PayScale and those kind of things where
Yeah.
you sort of are encouraged to share salaries anonymously and things like that. And like big tech companies, their salaries are pretty easy to find. Like
Hmm.
if you Google Microsoft Cloud Advocate level, like senior, whatever level you want to get to, you'll find the pay range there. So it's not like I provided any uh, like secret sauce there, but it's more of these smaller companies which have they're like more smaller companies out there, smaller medium
Hmm.
sized companies that are the ones that have like maybe they will severely underpay you, which you and I have both
Yep.
been. Like you told me, like I can't remember how much you told me you were making as a cloud engineer, but I was just like, wait, what?
Yep.
And it's like the more we educate ourselves and the more we sort of share these kind of things, it becomes tools and information for everybody. But it's just
For
something
sure.
that no one ever wants to talk about for some reason.
Hmm. Yeah. No. And um. Yeah. Our culture is kind of the same. Talking from like family perspective. Um. I would say, like my dad tried to educate some to some extent. He's like be smart with money, like um invest in stocks and stuff, but not
Yeah.
a lot. Um and yeah, there was no like friendly conversation about money, never at
Mhm.
like the table when you're having dinner or whenever, even with like my friends back in India, like we didn't have that transparency, and like things would get awkward and ugly whenever you bring up money.
Yeah. I was like that.
Yeah, and no, I think like especially with me, the transparency that you had, like when I remember the conversation we were having about me making $50,000 Canadian a year as a cloud engineer, and you were like, "That's way less," and that helped me like jump my salary up in 2 years to like.
Oh, you're talking about like, because I think we first had that conversation like a while back, right?
Yeah, a year ago, I think.
Yeah, and then but see, that's why it matters. Like, and I tweeted, oh, you know what it was? I tweeted out, I make $75,000 as a cloud engineer.
Yep.
And then you DM'd me about that, and I'm like, well, like, thank you for telling me this, because this is like, kind of like a reference thing. Like, I'm like, I now understand that I am severely underpaid, and even
For
at
sure.
75K in my location, because again, pay is relative to a bunch of things.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
75K in Connecticut is way more than 75K in San Francisco, that kind of stuff, right?
Definitely.
So like me providing that information, I just tweeted it out, and then that gave you sort of ammunition to an extent to go do research and be like, oh, I need to go ask for a raise, kind of thing. So like tell me, like, what did you do after that?
Yeah, I think the period when you tweeted it, I received an offer, and I was like, oh, thanks for like tweeting this out. I like exactly know what number I should be expecting. And the offer was way below that. And this is a totally different company I'm talking about. So I was still making 50K as a cloud engineer, and then there was this new gig I was trying to get into, and the role was pretty similar, just had senior in front of it, but the money they were offering for a senior role was pretty okay. And
senior. The job was senior, but the pay wasn't.
No, the pay wasn't. I think it was like 10 or 11K more than what I was making. And then I also had to move, so I had to like leave my apartment and stuff and change cities. And my
were they offering relocation?
Yeah, they were, but
okay.
I was just not comfortable to move. But like it didn't make sense for me, because like the rent was, I think, more. The insurance was way more, and it didn't make sense. Like I would be living with the same salary, like I would be taking home same amount of money end of the day. And I know, like, we sat through, and I remember we had a call about it, and you're like, yeah, try negotiating with them, and I did. And then finally, when I made my mind to join it, I received a counter offer where I was working. And they're like, yeah, we'll offer you this much, because as Gwen said, 75K in Connecticut is not 75K in San Francisco. So it's similar here. Like whatever the X company was offering me in this new city was not same here in Kingston, because the expenses are like pretty okay and decent. So yeah, I'm like, okay, but they were offering like stock options and stuff, and my company doesn't offer that. We're not like that big. So yeah, I'm like, how would you compensate that? And they had like really good education plans. So like if you go back to university, they'll cover the tuition up to like 5K, which was amazing. And yeah, so my company started thinking, okay, what if like, and then there were talks about like increasing the salary more and more. And I ended up getting a bump of like 35% in my base salary.
50K to a 35% increase because you knew that you were being underpaid, and then you're like, I'm gonna go find something else, and then that was enough for them to be like, we can't lose you. That's the thing that people might not realize, is that companies, if they lose you, it's so much more expensive for them to replace you and find someone else.
For sure.
So typically, if you have an offer from somewhere else, they will typically come. If you're good enough, of course. If you're like a lazy employee, then they're gonna be like, "Yeah, no, get out of here. We don't care." Really. But if you're worth it, they're gonna come and be like, what do you need for us to keep you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your leverage. But if the data isn't out there, if the information, the transparency isn't out there for you to understand that you're not making enough money, that you're never going to ask. And like, they're not going to just offer it to you unless
Definitely
they're like some, I don't know, really, really nice CEO or something. Even that, like, there's business is business kind of thing, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think transparency helps to some extent, and then also like, yeah, it helped me. And I get it. Like, even in the past, I think, like I would have not known about it, and also I find it okay because I was pretty new in the field itself, and having been like as Gwen said, like we don't have like big credentials and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we do have the skills. But in order to like get into the field, you need to start somewhere. And I think for me, making that jump from like technical support help desk to cloud was a huge deal for me, and I think at that time it made sense for me. But yeah, I haven't been worked in the same role for 2 years. I think I totally like made sense for me.
They said while they were robbing you, probably at the 50K, the cloud engineer gig, for 50K Canadian, jeez.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's like we only have, I think, three tech companies here in Kingston, so I didn't know much. And like as I said, moving from help desk to cloud was like my main goal, and just seeing that happen. And I did get a really good bump when I moved or switched roles. I just didn't know how much money like cloud engineers are offered, right? Like how much the skill set itself pays you.
Oops, didn't mean to put that. Is my audio fine? Do you hear me fine?
Initially there was like a echo.
How about now?
It's better. Like the initial 5 minutes, and then it goes back sometimes. I'll let you know when it jumps back.
I wonder if it's my...
Oh, there it goes again.
There's echo again?
Now it's fine. There was for like a minute or so.
Wait, how about now? Hello? Do you hear me now?
Yep.
Is there echo now?
No. Oh, it's way cleaner.
You know what it was? Oh my gosh! It was pulling the Bluetooth from my PlayStation controller.
Oh, okay.
The mic from this thing. I don't know why. It's always set to default. Wow. Damn, it's totally fun. Someone just literally just messaged me like check your audio. all right. Let's just repeat literally everything that we've said. So we have a couple of someone said luck is just opportunity lining up with preparation. You have to be ready.
Luck is just opportunity lining up with preparation. You have to be ready.
I think yes, but I think it's also it's like a super simple way of putting it, because you can be prepared all you want and simply not I don't know, you just can't take the risk, or you can't make the move for whatever reason it might be, right?
Yeah.
Like I told you this, like when I went from leaving my help desk gig to going for the sysadmin gig, the only reason I applied for that sysadmin gig was because I was moving to an area closer to that place. If I didn't end up moving, I would have never applied to that place, and who knows how the rest would have worked out. Eventually I probably would have like figured something out, but like, you know, what kind of preparation is in that? Like, what kind of like I was just moving. Like, I just like there's no like secret sauce or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Looking very helpful. Someone says hi GPS in Rishabh from India.
Hey,
they're saying hi. They're saying hi from India.
Yeah. What time it is in India?
It's probably late, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m.
Wow, this dedication. Is my audio still good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something. It's 5 a.m. in India. Good morning. Wow. Do jobs in I know India's massive, but like in general, is the culture there like do jobs typically start like super early or like what's the routine there?
I think the regular hours are 8 a.m., maybe 7 a.m., 8 a.m., something like that. I could be wrong, but that's the most common like starting hours.
To like 5, 6 kind of thing?
5, 6 kind of thing, yep.
I'm curious what people want to know about salaries and like that kind of thing, because I also went from 55K to 78. I think that's like 30%, something around there. And I think we could probably like dissect that and I guess give our best tips of what we did or like what worked out for that and that kind of stuff. But I'd also be open to seeing what people want to hear about in the chat. Someone says, I'm doing night shifts, just saw your live feed and logged out immediately. Nice. Hopefully we are worth your time. It's been a long week for me. Oh, probably because I have to move soon.
Yeah.
This is probably the last live stream with this background.
We'll miss it.
No more. I was just talking to someone on the team, and they were like, you should take a picture, make a poster, and just have it behind you.
Yeah. As like a
screen,
yeah.
Just to like
curtain.
Yeah, like just to remember it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like the last time I'll be streaming from here. I think so. Yeah. Because like if we do this next Thursday, I should be moved in by then.
Oh,
unless my internet's not turned on, but I don't see that not happening. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Here we go. Cloud computing is all about data or development. It's about both and neither.
It's about can be more. Definitely more.
It could be one, it could be more, it could be less, it could be both.
Yeah.
Neither. Like cloud computing is just a way of you to deploy or build your things, right? You have data in cloud. You put your data in the cloud. You develop cloud. What's the word when your solutions are like you're built with cloud in mind? I want to say cloud native, but cloud native is also like a set of like tools and technology, right? So I don't think it's cloud native, but like built for cloud. So anyway, cloud development, serverless is pretty much cloud development. Like cloud development, like take full advantage of cloud. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There's security in cloud. There's DevOps in cloud. There's architecture in cloud. There's what am I missing?
AI,
machine learning in cloud. There's no code, low code.
Yeah.
Storage. I think I said storage. Well, storage and data are kind of different, I guess.
What else? There's a lot of gaming going on in cloud right now.
Cloud gaming. What's the Xbox one? It's not xCloud, right? Is it?
It is, I think. X.
Well,
Cloud.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, Project X Cloud.
Following you guys for a couple of months, and it's really turned out good for me. Joining as a cloud engineer next month in HCL Technology India. Do you know this company?
Yeah, I've heard about them.
Wow!
Nice.
Congratulations! Woo, we need a soundboard where we can do applause. Yeah. Oh, I needed to find a shout out to someone. Let me pull it up while I wanted to remember to provide this shout out to this person. Let me see if I can find it, because they told me today that where are you? Come on. Wait. Oh, it's because it's like I haven't responded. All right, give me it was in a thread, so now I gotta go to that thread.
Oh, it's on Twitter.
Oh, here we go. All right, so Michael Lurch told me, like, by the way, GPS, I just passed my AZ 104 this morning. Now I gotta go and finish the resume challenge. So, Michael, nice. Congratulations to you. Great work. That is a fantastic. Do you have the 104? You have the 104, right?
Yeah.
That's a solid for. I don't know if this is your first certification. I don't even know if you're on this live, but good job, great work. Again, every time someone mentions certification, I'm like, I should do another one, but then I'm like, no.
You should
But
do
whatever.
the 204.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Since we have this, like you're going to be doing 2 sessions with me around sort of like 204 technologies. So I'm like, man, I might as well just put in the work to study for it. And then it would be cool because like at the beginning, I start studying at the beginning of the month with like, the beginning when the sessions start. And then I end with the sessions as well. And then but what if I don't pass? I'll be a fraud. Jeremy says we need a cloud meetup in the city. Heck yeah.
We do.
Heck yeah.
We do.
Rishabh has to come to New York and then we can go hang out somewhere or like do something.
Oh, Jeremy's in New York too.
I think he's in Jersey, which is very, very accessible to New York. BDD plus CICD. BDD. What is BDD? I feel like it's business driven development. No, I just made that up.
Okay.
What is BDD in tech? I feel like I should know.
First time. Yeah.
Behavioral driven development. Oh, it's instead of TDD, like test driven development. So I think, is that it? I could be completely wrong.
Behavior driven dev.
Oh yeah, see, there we go. I have no idea. I know I'm familiar with TDD, which I think is probably the most popular one. Maybe not the most popular one, but the one that I'm familiar with. Thank you, GPS and Rishabh. Gratitude. It's so nice when people share their successes with us.
For sure. Yeah, I had another shout out too, and hopefully like he lands the job. So Dominic, I think he's on his day 73 of the 100 days of challenge.
Nice.
The 100 days of cloud. And today he had an interview for a junior data engineer role.
Nice.
So we'll see. Fingers crossed. But yeah.
That's good. Even landing an interview is like something that you should absolutely celebrate, because getting people to just call you is so hard, right? And then a lot of times it's like your resume could be perfect. The person who is in charge of looking at the resumes just might be having a bad day, or they might not like, I don't know, the font you use or something like that. It's like so much luck into that kind of stuff. So Dominic, good job on that. I probably have more, but I haven't like gone through all like the comments. I've been trying to like avoid that stuff. But yeah, what else did we want to talk about today? I feel like we probably could dive into the negotiation thing. When was the first time that you negotiated an offer that you received for a role?
The last year, the event I talked about.
That's the first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know we could negotiate.
Same. I literally didn't know, and then I just Googled like what are like, because right before I got the offer for the sysadmin gig, I knew I was going to get it because it just like I just crushed the interview. So I knew I was going to get it, but I was sort of like, I Googled like best practices for salary or kind of thing like that. And someone says like always counter, always, no matter what. Even if you are happy with the number they give you, the number that they give you is always less than like the top salary that they can actually provide. So like say it's, I don't know, the top number that they can give you is 56K, but they're going to tell you maybe 53 or maybe 52 or something like that. Yeah, because they kind of expect you to counter. It's like the dumb back and forth. I don't know. Why can't you just tell me the highest number that you can give me in the right away? But anyway, I guess, saving money is it. So yeah, it said like always counter, and always counter higher than like way higher. So then they kind of meet you halfway, and then you end up making more than what you thought anyway, right? Especially if you were fine with the initial number. So my initial offer was, I think it was 50. It might have been maybe 48 or 50. I ended up saying something like I wanted 58 or 60, something like that. And then we settled on 55, even though I was totally fine with like 50, because even that amount of money was more than I ever thought I was, I guess worthy of making. So yeah, and ever since then, yeah, I've always countered. Absolutely, like always. Even my current job, I asked for more, like a higher salary. I asked for a higher bonus. Hey, sorry, my dog. Oh, he always barks when I'm on stream. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Would you guys be up to answering some resume questions? Do it.
Sure.
Put it in the chat.
Share a link.
Let's go. I've been curious about like how we could provide more not just not maybe like critiquing resumes, but like mock interview kind of thing.
Yeah, we discussed that, right? I think it was with what was it with? Not 100 Days of Cloud. I think we just were going to do it ourselves, like have like few time slots available every month to do mock interviews.
To just chat.
Yeah, and I think we said it will be like a lot of time commitment, because we need to like stay on top of the questions that we might want to ask the interviewee, right?
Yeah, well, it's also like I think it's the same reason that I don't get into mentoring. Yeah. One, because I don't necessarily think I'm a good mentor, but two, it's like that back and forth, I guess, rapport that you require for mentoring is like, it's just, you can't just pick up a random stranger, but I'll be my mentor. Like, you're not gonna get anything out of that, right? Like, you know, this person could be a terrible person, and you're asking them for mentorship, kind of thing, right? Someone says your dog needs attention. I think no, he's just every time when we record the podcast, at the end of the podcast, the last 10 minutes. He always barks, or he's always like here, like literally in this area. Just so he's probably gonna bark again.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, Ankur, for getting into.
So we became AWS community builder a couple of weeks back. You guys are awesome. I can't wait. You guys hours not doing that. That's awesome. Community builder. I think those programs are so important and so useful, because though it may just be like a title or thing like that, it does give you the sense of like what I'm doing has purpose. Yeah. And it not that you need the title for that, but it's nice to have like, now you have a group of, community builders or MVPs or GDEs, Google developer experts. Yeah. And that kind of thing. But it's nice to be like, being part of the MVP program was amazing. Like, I've met like so many like great friends that I've made because of that. And it's just cool to have like people to talk to about like stuff that you actually like talking about, right? For sure. When I was 2 years out of school, a recruiter asked me how much I wanted. I was making $35K a year, so I said 40. They said, "Oh, great, 40 per hour." This is when I learned my value. Oh, nice. Yeah, you don't like, the thing is like this number, this it's so, at sometimes I just feel like it's so random, right? Can you put labs and projects you completed on your resume? Absolutely. As long as because expect to be asked about these projects. Yeah. Expect to be asked about like, what did you use to implement this? And you got to know what you're talking about. You got to be confident. You got to be like, this is how I built this whole, like, you got to be able to talk about it. Yeah. Another tip is like, don't put random projects on your resume. Like, you followed a tutorial and you did exactly the same thing and you're putting it on your resume. They'll catch you, because they'll ask questions. And there has been times where I've seen like same iteration or multiple iterations of same project on multiple resumes. Yeah. So this is some kind of tutorial that everyone is following. Yeah, so watch out for that. And like, and it doesn't need to be many. Like, just have one or two. But solid projects. Yeah. Like that, solid, in and out. Full-fledged. Like we preach the cloud resume, fantastic project. Then go do the Azure resume one. Put whichever one you feel you like the most, I guess, on there. But like, you need to be able to speak about these things in and out, because that confidence just the confidence of speaking of things might help you like progress more than the actual knowledge. For sure. Like, so, and one more pro tip would be, as you like encounter issues when you do these projects, write them somewhere. Like, what? Oh my gosh, that is such a good. Because the times that you're going to get asked, like, tell me about a time that you were stuck. What was your approach? Yep. Things like that. The troubleshooting skills, all this, write those things down or document them with the project. If you're doing this on GitHub, put them on your README, be like, oh, I got stuck here. This is how I figured it out. Here are some resources that helped me. Yep. Make that stuff available, because later when it's like, you're in interviews, you're selling yourself, and it's hard to like think on the spot, because you could also be nervous. Maybe I don't know. you're feeling a little off or whatever it is. But if it's in a way, if you practice these things, you have them written down somewhere, you're going to be able to reference them easier, right? That's such a good tip there. When you read a job, are you personalizing your resume to that job? Absolutely. I don't have any formal training outside of building PCs or fixing tech stuff for family. I see myself touching on topics from the position description. So there's two actual, I guess, ways of personalizing what documents you're providing. So one is like your cover letter, which absolutely do not download a template and just like change the company name, your name and the position and this and that. Do not do that, because that is pointless.
Yep.
I don't know if most people actually open up cover letters, but in the, I guess, slim chance that they do, and then they just see some generic thing, then what's the point of that, right? If they just see something with your name on it, right? Then there's the whole science behind tailoring a resume, right? I've done it so going from like help desk to the sysadmin, I've tailored I was a lot more descriptive with the things that I troubleshot at the Apple Store thing, at the help desk gig, and I've tailored that to this role that I was looking at, and then I put like certifications there, like stuff like that, right? And then going from the cloud engineer gig to like the training architect, I did more focus on like the content that I've created, the like the stuff that I've done with the MVP program. Like it's your resume is meant to be like the relevant work that is for that role, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And yeah, like make sure you personalize, and like I've this fun of doing, like making a resume every time I apply to a different role. And that is because, especially when you look at different cloud, even in the cloud positions, you will find that there is a different technology that might be being used at a company X, which company Y doesn't use. So make sure to put in the skills that will matter to that company. Like treat the one page kind of like that's all the real estate you have, and make like 100% out of it.
Yeah, don't none of these multiple page resumes. Nobody needs. It's great that you like rock climbing. That's awesome. It doesn't need to be on your resume. It's great that you, I don't know, those kind of things. I just feel like if you think about if there's one page, you have like, I don't know, a recent percentage of them even looking at it. The opportunity, the chance that they're actually going to go through multiple pages. Come on. Right.
So this is a great example of personalizing resume. I don't know if you have seen this. I'll butcher her name, but Emily, I think the first name I can spell, but Emily Wu.
I don't know.
She got into Spotify, I think, as an intern, but her.
Oh, is this the design thing?
Yeah.
I remember this.
PM. But her resume was Spotify themed.
Yeah, there you go. Impressive. Like, it's as simple as like, they want you to know, they want to immediately know that you really want this job, right? Let me pull it up see if I can like actually copy this. How do I copy this text? I can't. Can you send it to me on Discord, and then I'll open it on.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. All right, how do I hold on a second here. Give me a second here. We'll go here. It's funny, I was telling you yesterday that I interviewed for Spotify. And I was like just remembering the terrible interviewing experiences that I've had. Here we go. Look at this. Spotify themed resume for my dream PM job at Spotify. Look at that. And
then her next tweet is she got it.
Oh, really? Officially joining Spotify. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is how you freaking. Oh, I also saw. I think her name is Maggie. She like submitted her resume via. They have an API available for you to submit your resume, and then she just submitted it via her API.
Yeah,
it was like a software dev gig, I think, something like that.
Yeah, that was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that tweet was how I got the idea of like actually building the resume API endpoint that you can curl. for like Azure Functions thing.
Yeah, so that was probably like a year ago, right?
Yeah,
Around
yeah,
that, maybe
maybe.
around that. Johnny is here. Hey, Johnny.
Oh, he shout out to Johnny Chips. He's an MVP now.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, it's nice to welcome new. Someone says, dude, that's so fire.
Mm-hmm.
The resume thing. Yeah. Put in that work, I guess, to stick out. Why can't we automate everything with Python and let developers enjoy their life? Not everything is about code, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really code much now. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't answer your question. Did we? Oh, here we go. Is cloud engineer same as DevOps engineer? So we have a DevOps engineer in the place here. So do you want to give us the answer?
Ex cloud engineer.
Ex cloud engineer, current DevOps engineer.
Yeah. So, and this again, disclaimer that this may vary depending on different companies, but with cloud engineer, my sole kind of purpose and job was to make sure like our infrastructure is up and running, and also like architecture and design kind of, you have to like figure it out when there are new features and new solutions that are coming up. So like how, as Gwen mentioned earlier in the call, how those solutions can be cloud native or ready to be like deployed in cloud. So all of that involved the cloud engineer role, not a lot of automation and stuff, but yeah, that was most of it. And then some support around it. So like if anything goes down, stuff like that, you need to be on call. With the DevOps engineer right now, I'm kind of focused towards IAC, so infrastructure as code, automating the deployments themselves. So if there is new code that's being pushed out, we need the infrastructure to be pushed out as well as code. So it's all part of CI/CD, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment. So a lot less manual work, but yeah, you're just trying to automate and also make sure like your solutions are reliable and scalable. So let's say I need the cluster that I have to be deployed in a new region. Boom, you have the code, you just specify location as a variable, and you have all of your infrastructure like front end, back end databases in a new region. That's like a brief kind of definition of what I do as DevOps engineer now.
The key part is that cloud engineer is such a generic title.
Oh, definitely.
It just means that you're going to be doing something with cloud computing. Typically at smaller, maybe mid-sized companies, you're going to be doing a lot. It's just like a range of things, right? As I was doing DevOps, I was doing full stack development, I was doing SQL Server management when I was a cloud engineer, right? But at the larger the team, the more specific your team is, like the less you're going to do. Maybe you're focused on development, maybe you're focused on security, maybe you're focused on monitoring, administration, that kind of stuff. So I guess the proper answer here is that they're different. DevOps isn't specific to cloud. I guess technically you could have DevOps with on-prem, right?
Yeah. We do have, so like our team does have engineers that are totally focused on on-prem stuff. So like vSphere, and I don't know what else do they live in, but yeah, supporting the physical data center.
You were talking about how you have load balancers on Linux servers instead of actually using cloud load balancers.
Yep.
Nice. Do we also need to know about web or Android or software to make cloud computing projects? What is a cloud computing project? So I think we can tackle this from two ways. One, if you're trying to learn cloud, the easiest way to do it is to have some sort of application that you can manipulate in the sense of like, you want to deploy it to a cloud service. You want to, create a CI/CD pipeline around it. So you want to get some DevOps experience, but you need something to do that too. You can't just like
Yeah.
Like the pipeline needs something to work, you need something to deploy, that kind of stuff. So it's good to be familiar with these things that you are working on, right? But the good thing is like there's plenty of tutorials out there that you can just build things, you can follow, build things, and then you have this one project that you can use it for like multiple things. You could also use like build your own blog or your resume kind of thing, that kind of stuff. You don't need to know software development, but you do need to know how to use something like Bash, or like we recommend Python for beginners, to the extent where you can automate things, because like Rishabh said, cloud is all about being able to automate. You don't want to be clicking your way around the portal like, I'm going to go launch a virtual machine, portal.azure.com, virtual machines, select your size. No, that nobody who works as a professional engineer is doing it that way. You need to be able to provide variables to commands, and like it automates for you, or this stuff is already in infrastructure as code. And in order to work with those kind of things, you need to understand
infrastructure as code.
Yeah, you need to understand code. You need to be able to do it.
Yep.
You don't have to build full applications like these really fancy, nice looking things. No, absolutely not. But you need to be familiar with programming to an extent. Like I think like the foundations, like variables, object oriented programming, conditionals, loops.
I think those will also help you like when you're trying to like script your way through deployments, especially with like Python using SDKs and stuff. But yeah, not to make it more complex, I think that's why like GPS said the Cloud Resume Challenge is a really good starting point, because you don't need to know much as of like coding itself.
Should just show the guide. I'm gonna pull it up.
Sure. Let's plug our.
Let's plug our free resource. Free
just
open
the
source.
Best resource if you're beginner in cloud.
Someone asked me which paid resource do I recommend, and I told them I don't. Hold on, let me switch this way. Here we go. Boom. Let's put it as like a little thingy here. The website is probably a little bit easier, depending if you have familiarity with GitHub or not. But you got a little like thing here. But yeah, we sort of divided up how we would sort of learn cloud computing in 6 months. We have 4 phases: Linux and networking, learn some scripting and code. And if we go into here, I think we sort of describe like to what extent, some resources, some projects that you can do, and then things that you should be familiar with. Okay, so variables, functions, when and how to use arrays, lists, dictionaries, basic data types, and their uses, iterations, classes, and understanding why testing your code is important. Try to implement a simple unit test with the process that you do, classes, and object-oriented programming concepts. Yeah, so I think if you know this extent, which is a significant amount, I'm not going to lie, but I think you probably don't need to go further than this, unless you want to build full-on
software engineer.
Yeah, I didn't until that's not true, because I was doing like full stack stuff as I was a cloud engineer, but that was not.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been that way.
Yeah, this would give you like a solid foundation, even if your like focus is not software development. And also like the resources we share are pretty good. So.
Yeah, and I think they're all free.
Yeah, they're all free.
Maybe some of these books might not be free though. Let's see.
Oh, the books, no, but the courses, the videos, and
I think all of them except for the books.
Yeah. Oh, this is free. The automate the boring stuff with Python.
It is
for free. Yeah.
They have like an online version. Oh, they do. What?
Yeah.
Nice.
And even if you're not like a text or book or documentation person, the Udemy course is also like it goes for free, often every month.
Never pay full price for Udemy courses. All right, let me switch back this way. Cool. That answers that question. I'm going to go down. Do this for a while. All right, let me see. All right, here we go. This is for you, DevOps engineer. What do you think about Kubernetes and how important it is for DevOps? We were just talking about how you don't use containers
at all.
And you work as a DevOps engineer.
It's been 8 months something like 8 months since I've been a DevOps engineer, and I haven't touched Kubernetes in production workloads. There's definitely demand, and also like curiosity within me, and also like business demand on to learn it. But yeah, right now our workloads are all traditional Linux boxes and Windows boxes.
I think the moral of the story there is like these new fancy technologies that come out. Yes, they're fantastic tools, but it doesn't mean it's so easy for them to get notoriety because you have people on social media sharing them and like, oh, everything in containers, and then it's like everything serverless, and then everything just don't do anything, no code, low code, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you'd be surprised of how many places don't implement containers, don't even have like proper virtual machine administration, stuff like that. So do you think she designed it from ground with like CSS or something, or maybe she just found a template and plugged them in? I can't find.
I don't
know.
think it's a template, because then there would have been other people who might have done it in the past. She could have used like code to write it, because I know Spotify has a UI library, like their design, like Google, like Material UI thing. Spotify has their own, so he might have utilized that. I know that she didn't mention how she did it, but yeah, it would be good to know.
That would be cool. What's your work like as the DevOps engineer, including overtime? I don't think you meant overtime. I think you meant, your work hours. Like, what are your hours like?
Yeah, so I work from 8 till 5. Take
remote,
1 hour.
Right? Are you're remote now?
It's flexible, yeah. So I can go into the office if I want, and then, or I can work from home. And then I'm on call every other week. So every alternate week I'm on call. So you have to be available kind of 24/7 if anything goes down, kind of thing. But yeah, you're paid fairly for those on call hours.
Are you paid like at a different rate, like time and a half or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you also like get paid for like just being on standby and stuff. So yeah, not getting too into the weeds, but yeah.
Cool. Here's a good comment. Most enterprises don't follow tech trends. Too risky to be on bleeding edge. Second thing is upskilling workforce is super difficult.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so true. There's more enterprise companies out there than there are these like small startups that make so much noise on Twitter, right? So
especially like that's a really good point. Upskilling workforce, and also like finding the time to do that, because you already have, like, I don't know,
you're already behind.
Pretty big. Yeah, you already have a pretty big
backlog.
Backlog, and also like your product is famous because you're a mid-sized enterprise, and
it's
you want to
stable.
deliver. Yeah, it's probably stable, and you want to deliver all other promises and all other features that you already have in the pipeline. Like, you don't have time to do, like, there's so much migration effort and like upskilling people, and things will go wild if you like try to migrate stuff.
Are cloud engineers eating network engineers? I guess basic network engineering skills enough to get past an interview. No need to worry about OSPF or BGP stuff. Are cloud engineers eating network engineers? No, because you need network engineers in cloud. You need cloud networking engineers. There's a specific role for, like, if you know networking well, you can get a great job in cloud. Like there's a spot for you there, and like translating your skills is like very, very doable. Because like terminology, it's like pretty much the same, right? VNets, like subnets, IP addresses, firewalls,
everything is the same.
Security groups, rules, all that kind of stuff is the same. You just need to understand like the service stuff, like that kind of stuff, and like how you would interact with like a CLI and that such. But
yeah, and you can like do that, like if you have like basic network networking knowledge, it's pretty easy. I know I like my supervisor, kind of my manager when I was an intern, he is from a like networking background, and he's the one who designed all like VPCs and stuff in AWS for our product. which is like, yeah, it's same. It's just that the terms have changed, and also you're doing it virtually now instead of like physical Cisco switches.
Plugging in things into and making sure they're numbered the right way. That's not happening, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
like the difference, right? Places hire people to pursue the most up-to-date tech so that they will stay competitive, though. So I feel like they kind of do follow trends. I don't know. To be fair, I haven't been looking at like job postings really, so I don't keep up to date with it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say is that if you see a ridiculous amount of buzzwords in a job, it's like a posting. It's probably like BS. Like the person writing the description doesn't know what they're talking about, and they just Googled like top 10 tech in 2021, and they just put like, all right, we need to make sure they have all this knowledge, right? We are still early in cloud days, at least 5 to 10 years to learn enough to be cloud engineers in the future. Don't fall for FOMO. 99% of devs are not on Twitter. Oh, this is so good. 99% of devs are not on Twitter, or like they make too much money to care about being on Twitter, or something like that. So this is super true here. What is the DevOps salary range nowadays? Is it going up due to inflation? This is very specific to your market. I think now with remote, it's like might be becoming more general, but I think we're pretty far away still from having like one range for like entire countries or things like that. I don't really see that happening anytime soon. So you would have to look into what the market is in your current area.
Yeah, for Soho, there's levels.fyi or FYI. Yeah, it's a pretty good tool. Glassdoor, and you can find other tools.
Yeah, it's just Google it, like salary and like years that you're looking for, and you'll probably find it. Look at this. I agree with Jeremy. So many customers I deal with are still 7 to 10 years out behind the current bleeding edge.
Been there.
Like the one and the thing that you need to know is that it's never too late to learn.
Yeah.
If you want to just start learning cloud computing right now, do it, because it will be somewhere in freaking. There's gonna be some company who is just starting their journey on the same, and like will need you to come in.
Yeah. I just lost your video.
Yeah, I cut it off because it like got stuck or something. Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
But yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, let's put this other one up. You want to read that out while I figure out my.
Most enterprise moving to cloud stop at IaaS, so infrastructure as service. It's enough for them to market their cloud-enabled network engineering is in huge demand. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know, 3 products that I'm working with right now within like my company, they all are IaaS. So, yep, we are totally fine. And then. Yeah, that's how we market it. Like, yeah, we use cloud, right? And that's what customers care about if they want those buzzwords.
Yeah, if you have Active Directory, you're using the cloud. Like that's like if you use 365, that's cloud, right? Use a Power Platform, that's cloud, right? Like that's enough for you to be able to put that on your customers to be like, you just slap the Microsoft Azure logo on, then like you're good to go, right?
Yep.
Are using Linux in industry? Richard does a lot. I'm trying to think. Not at the moment, but I most likely will. Like for me, like what I use depends highly on the sessions that I have going on. Are we doing any Linux related in
containerization?
The containerization, which is that session on the last week,
which would be really cool because we're trying .NET as container, which is amazing.
This Windows technology, not Windows, Microsoft technology with Linux, unbelievable, right? I don't like Windows OS. That's why I focus AWS instead of Azure. Do you think this is a mistake? Yes.
Yeah.
Windows and Azure are very different things, you know?
Yeah, and just to mention, I saw my manager in the comments.
No way.
Yeah. I don't think he's watching the stream right now, but he mentioned a really good fact yesterday that Azure. I don't know where he mentioned that Azure customers, so the clients who are using Azure, big enterprises, mid-size, whatever, 50% of workloads are on Linux, something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a big misconception that you won't pick Azure because you don't want to use Windows.
Yeah, or you have some gripe against Microsoft. Like I feel like it's popular to be like, oh, haha, Microsoft, oh, haha, .NET, but it's like, all right, you're losing out. You're losing out on job opportunities. You lose, like you share that. Who shared that Stack Overflow? It was you, like, right? It was like these numbers are getting closer and closer. Like, yeah, AWS is still up there for sure, but like these other clouds are catching up, right? There's no reason for you to limit yourself.
Oh yeah.
Don't allow these silly discussions of like which cloud is better to limit your possibilities of working in the field. Don't let that get to you. It's just dumb.
For sure. Yeah, there was. Yeah, we were just having this discussion yesterday about Azure because we do have some workloads, and think the Q2 revenue for Azure this year was up by 50%.
Boom.
So yeah,
the stock's looking pretty nice for me.
I'm not making this up. You can Google it. I'm a cloud advocate. I'm not sponsored by Microsoft Azure. I use all three clouds at my job. So
it's like the same thing as like the JavaScript, like the gripes against that. Like I have no issue with any technology. It's like just don't allow it to limit your like, like your potential. Like that's just dumb. Like I'll participate in the banter online. That's all fun, right? But don't let it get in the way of you making that money, right? I was offered to help this position, digital marketing position at the same time. I took the digital marketing one, but I still enjoy your channel. Oh, cool.
Nice.
Azure has much better VS Code extensions, AWS
That's
and GCP.
true.
This is what I tell people. GitHub, Visual Studio Code.
Yep.
Every developer uses that. Which service do they integrate the best with? Which cloud platform do they integrate the best with?
Oh, people already know the answer.
Yeah, like it's like you literally right click. Like we were working on the crypto.net ticker thing, and then you were like, "Oh, we got to deploy this." I'm like, "All right." I literally go right click, deploy to static storage, boom, done. I sent you the URL in like 3 minutes.
And you know what I thought is I need Visual Studio to run the Blazor web app.
No,
and I'm like, okay, I started the download, and it's a huge IDE, so I was waiting on it. I'm like, until this downloads, I'll open up it in Visual Studio Code, and it opened up, and it was like, oh, these are some suggested extensions that you're missing. I'm like, okay, install, and then I was able to do like .NET Run or .NET Watch Run.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Code is so capable, but also that speaks to the maturity and like where .NET is going as cross-platform, right?
Yeah.
Because that same thing, you go on Pop OS, it'll work, right?
Yeah.
I was doing literally Blazor WebAssembly and some SQL Server stuff on Pop OS a couple months ago. It works, right? Just don't listen to yourself. Azure is king. I wouldn't say Azure is king because like technically it's not. Azure's king in my heart, but and I was a big Azure fan before joining Microsoft. I just remember I just recently I've always been a fan of Azure, but we're getting there. Even tools like Postman, they only integrate with GitHub, no Bitbucket. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. When you think Git or where I host my Git repos, you think GitHub. And GitHub Actions is right there. You got your CI/CD pipelines
for free.
And those integrate well. You can find a YAML template for pretty much any service you want to deploy.
Those things are crazy. Yeah, you already have pre-defined templates that are categorized based on what you're doing with your CI/CD pipeline, which is a huge deal. And so I use Azure DevOps for repository at work, and we use same for like pipelines. And those they took a similar approach with Azure DevOps for pipelines that they have for GitHub, which was just crazy. Like most of the times I don't even have to write YAML because I don't know, I have a love and hate relationship with it. But yeah, you just go into Azure pipelines and there's a drop down and you can tell what task it needs to do and it does it for you.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like you don't need to create anything from scratch. Like you just Google it down to like the language that you need. I found the perfect example for what I needed for the YAML file, and it was .NET 3. And I was like, no, I need .NET 5. I literally changed like, all right, the same Google search but to .NET 5, and I found it.
Yep.
Right. Microsoft for the win. To be fair, Johnny is also a big
MVP.
MVP and a big Azure fan, so we might be a little biased. But is starting a business in your future? Our consulting are making a killing. I did some consulting before, so when I left my college engineering gig, to joining ACG, I did some consulting, and it was there's a lot of potential there, but I think it also is something that you have to be sure that you want to do, and I think you. Personally, for me, it was like I had so much to learn from a team still, like being so early in my career, that I was like, is this something I definitely want to do, but I want to push it down the line like a couple of years, right?
Yep.
So yeah, people are making, like, Nader David talks about like how much he made in consulting, like ridiculous amounts of money. So yeah, it's definitely something to think, but not. I don't think like anytime soon. Like I mentioned, like I want to build like a long, successful career here at Microsoft, and that's going to take years and years. So who knows when that'll happen. Oh, here's a good one. Cloud needs math and analysis of user data like machine learning. Are you asking a question? Remember, were you on the stream where the person was like, you need math for something?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that was. Like, you need math to... it was something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I feel like they were trolling us to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the people who say like you need degrees to be considered an engineer. If you don't have a degree, you're just a developer. It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I feel like we got super energetic there. Did we miss any?
I don't think so. I think just one. Your Populous thing reminded me. Rodney was saying that he tried Populous and somehow bricked his laptop now.
No. How? Let me scroll up. I love Pop. I haven't used it in a while though, being on this new custom PC.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where is it?
I think
it's like way up there.
Yeah. Here. Also, after downloading Populous on my laptop, I kind of bricked it. I couldn't get it to download on my large SSD, so now I have to get a Windows recovery code.
Oh my! There's nothing that I hate more than reinstalling a laptop from scratch, because it's you never know what you're gonna miss, and your setup is never the same as it was. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like I get like a perfect place, and then for some reason I have to like start on a new laptop from scratch. Yeah, that's the one thing that Windows doesn't have figured out compared to like Macs. Like you can just transfer one Mac to another pretty easy, pretty straightforward with
I think
the hell is that called?
Time Machine.
It's called. Time Machine. Yes. Yep. The Time Machine. Windows is just not.
Yeah, and also like even so, I remember. So I upgraded my girlfriend's SSD on her MacBook Air, and her Air is old, so you could still upgrade SSDs, which is not the case now. But I used I think CloneZilla or something like that to just clone the old SSD to the new one.
Yeah.
And it booted fine.
Nice.
And I tweeted about this. I'm like, I'm going to do this for my Windows machine because I had like 120 gigs SSD and it was running out of space.
120 gigs?
Only for my OS.
Oh, okay.
So I have like I have two SSDs. One is for just my OS, and then I have 1 terabyte SSD for programs and gaming and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I decided to upgrade it to like a 500 gig SSD just for my OS. And I did the same thing. It won't boot. I would get like blue screen of death every time when I booted. Luckily enough, I didn't erase my older SSD. So
you just popped it back in. Yeah.
But in the end, I had to like reinstall Windows on the new one, which kind of sucked because it's never the same. But I think with WinGet or whatever, the Windows Package Manager.
Yes.
We're kind of getting there.
Kind of getting to where you can have sort of like a definition.
File.
Yeah, a definition of what you want. And
that was so neat. Yeah.
I'm at a point where I'm not changing computers anymore. I'm just upgrading stuff. Like I'll upgrade a card maybe in like a year or so. I just got more RAM. I just got like more SSD. Like from there, like, and I guess the CPU at some point, but
what card did you get with your new
2060?
It'll hold up pretty good. I have an RX 580, which is like so old, but
it works.
It works. Like I play most of the games they're like probably run at 70 or 80 FPS, which is fine.
Fine, yeah.
yeah.
I'm not an intense gamer. Like I'll probably like the most intense game I've ever played was probably like Watch Dogs Legion. Maybe if that, I don't know if that's like super intense in terms of
it
like
is kind of
resources. Yeah, runs fine. And then, but like me, it's like, you know, I'll play FIFA. I play that the Riders Republic that I'll probably play again tonight. Yeah, I'm just just casual gaming really. Content idea: how to install Pop OS. I think they have pretty solid documentation and such.
Yeah. But yeah, if Rodney, tweet at us if you're getting like weird errors. I did a user study with them, and I ran into a lot of issues with my network card and stuff. Not typically with like booting and being able to like load it on an SSD, but yeah, maybe can help you in some way.
As a DevOps, most tools are cloud agnostic. So if you know the tools, then you can work in different environments. Do you still think that it matters whether AWS or Azure GCP? And I think if you're talking strictly DevOps, no. Even cloud engineering, like the basics of like, you know, a virtual machine is a virtual machine everywhere.
And it's pretty easy to transfer your knowledge. So like I worked with AWS for 2 years until I discovered Azure and some GCP last year. And yeah, the only thing is terminology and the UI itself. Other than that, it's pretty much same. Maybe some PowerShell CLI kind of commands are different, but other than that, everything is kind of like the basics will stay the same. And that's why, like, if you look at that repo that Gwen shared for the self-taught guide, that's why we focus more on like the basic concepts of like what a VPC is, and not more on which cloud you should pick. Because in the end of the day, like even with businesses, contracts change, so you might have a new cloud provider, or you might change a job. So yeah,
like your knowledge will work anywhere. Just don't limit yourself because of some random tweet or something like that, right? This discussion is like it gets you nowhere. Are you allowed to take holidays, and how good is work-life balance? I'm definitely allowed to take holidays. Like I'm taking time off to move, and they're absolutely cool with that. How good is work-life balance? So I think with both of us, the issue is like what we do for work, we also enjoy doing on our time off, right? So like you and I will hop on here, we'll just talk career stuff, life stuff, and like this, we like doing this, right?
And when we're not doing that, we are totally on another call gaming.
Yeah, we're either gaming, but when we game, we're also talking about this stuff, right? So it's like it's our hobby also happens to be what we do for a living, which is fantastic. So work-life balance, for me, it's pretty great, I think.
Yeah, for me, I like my as Gwen said, I'm super chill. My manager is also super chill. And with the work-life balance, like it's pretty great. Especially like I have this thing where our commitment, you can say, I travel to India every year just to visit my parents. And like my company is super fine with that. And fortunately, like this year I was able to like spend I think almost 4 months in India. Like
oh right, I remember that.
Yeah. And then also I like had a 1 month vacation. So yeah, like for work-life balance, it's pretty chilled, and holidays too. Like there's no like stress or.
With remote, it's kind of weird. Like it's not that the work-life balance it's like less, but it's like different. It's hard to differentiate, which is why I'm looking forward to returning to an office, because it's like that hard. Like I'm in office, I'm working, I'm focused. I'm not next to my gaming PC kind of thing, right? I'm out of the office, I'm home. I'm like switch modes on. Maybe I still might work on cloud stuff, but it's like different from work, right?
Yeah.
So the hard limit, I'm excited to like return to like a high hybrid model.
It works the other way too. Not works, but it kind of screws you over the other way too. Like, you get a Teams message. I don't know. You get an email at 6-7 p.m. when you're not supposed to be working. Because I'm at my desk gaming, I see that.
And I switch to the.
I dig into it and I'm like, now, like an hour later I'll realize like I'm working. So yeah, work from home thing is kind of, maybe if you have a bigger place, like have two different setups. But again, you're in the same kind of house.
Yeah, it's hard to like have like, unless you have like a bunch of spare rooms, like this is the work room, and then you have to physically walk to the other room to like get to your custom to the other setup. Not everyone has a custom PC, but like to your other place where you do like non-work stuff, right? Yeah, I can't imagine people who like live in a studio, which is going to be me very soon. But it's like you have there's no way to differentiate. You're different. Like my bed's going to be like right there. Literally, right? So yeah, I feel like incorporating, I don't know, some way for you to like have that mental click, because like we used to have a commute. Like our commute would be like, all right, it's time to go to work. Like, with that click, like listen, pop music on, or like put a podcast on, and then like commute, and then you go to work. You get your coffee, you go to stand up. I kind of miss stand-ups, to be honest, because that was like that was the thing. It was like we're all in this room, we're going to talk about, and then boom, let's go to work, kind of thing.
It was kind of nice, especially like it was a routine.
Yeah,
so for me it was like get up, dress up, commute, go in, like set up my laptop, go into the kitchen, and that's where like we would see other faces and my colleagues, and then we all are waiting for our coffees to brew, and then we would go to the stand-up room.
Oh like my god, I remember that. Yeah, it's always a small chat at the coffees, the coffee thing, and I definitely do miss the office, just because also to see the ability to talk to people is quite nice, and like build, because when you actually enjoy your team members, work is so much better, right? It's sort of hard to find that connection via Teams, though. This is also something I wanted to dive into, that you and we spoke about this last night during the gaming session. Yeah. Where we talked about like how important it is to build, like once you have the ability to build your network and sort of pick and choose the people who you want to become close to, like how accessible that is now, right? Versus like, when you're growing up, you're sort of just surrounded by your friends in school who may or may not be a good influence. You just like your family who may or may not be a good influence. But then as you grow and you sort of like find your own networks, and you're online and that kind of stuff, it's like you and I connected over Twitter over a year ago, right? And then we've been sort of close ever since. But yeah, just that sense of like being part of something more, just that makes work so much more enjoyable. And then like the stuff that we do outside of work so much more enjoyable. Yeah. Hobby equal job is the gold standard. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely times in life where I haven't enjoyed like my job. That's for sure. And it wasn't my hobby. Like I couldn't wait to get home and like get away from it. I think everyone, I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people enjoy not having their job and their hobby be the same thing. Oh yeah. Like some people like enjoy the separation.
And I can see it, like, especially if you don't have a good balance, and if you don't like the work culture itself is toxic, and it can get like in your nerves, and you will be like hating your hobby now because you hate your job.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Wow. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyone wanting to run, Rishabh's a big fan of WSL too.
Yeah. I think I didn't know if I published this article, but I have a really good document that I publish internally in my company. And there were a few folks that tried it out. They're like, this is impressive, because especially with some of the scripts and development stuff that I do, which is very little, but when I do, I have a hard time with Windows. Just it's me being me. I'm more comfortable in Linux in the command line. But yeah, WSL is like game changer, because you don't need to dual boot, or you don't need VMs, and you're using the same storage, so you have access to all your files.
Yeah. I just read something about like not being able to do something with Blazor WebAssembly via WSL2, and I just remember that you were having some sort of issues doing something. So I'll have to find that again.
I think I was trying to. So there was a particular package. I have to go back. It's probably somewhere. I think I looked at an issue that's already open, like in the WSL kind of issues page. And when you download that package, since your like WSL2 is not running as system CDL, you cannot get that service to work, even though it installs it. but it gets weird errors, and I don't know. It's too complicated for me.
From WSL 1 to WSL 2, and then at the pace that it's been improving, it's amazing. There's just like Windows is slowly becoming just one of the best operating systems to use as a developer.
For sure.
I'm also biased, so I have an interesting one here. So, would you guys ever consider engaging more with your community game or adding them in your chats? I invite anybody who's in the chat right now to go on Twitter, DM me if you want to hop on this call literally right now. I will send you a link. We're always open to chatting with anybody at any time. Sure. So if you go to my Twitter is @MadeByGPS. I'll put it in the link. My DMs are open. If you want to be on the chat, DM me, and then I will send you a link to come on this chat. Maybe we'll stick around for I was gonna end it, but if someone wants to join,
for sure,
boom, DM me, and then here, go DM me now. I'll send you a link to join here. We skipped a couple ones here. Do certifications matter? So how? Did it help get better salary, or it'll make it easier to get the offer?
Yeah. In my case, it did, and it only does it to some extent. I think for me, it acted as a good filter when my resume got picked, because they were like, "Oh yeah, he had certifications." Whereas I think whoever they were valuing me against might have not had certifications. But other than that, I did 3 rounds of interviews. They didn't ask me anything about my certifications. They just assumed I would know stuff because I had certification listed on my resume. So all questions were based on real life experiences and what I would do on designing a solution and stuff like that. But yeah, think they act as a good filter, and they also act as a good accountability thing. You know stuff because you cleared this certificate, but you will also be asked in the interview technical questions which you might not be able to answer by just getting the certificate itself. So make sure you're not just doing it for the sake of getting a certificate.
Someone wants the link. Hold on, I'm trying to get it. All right, we're about to have our first live call in. Hold on, let me invite.
Yep.
Copy to clipboard. All right.
So we're basically publishing that you know the information, and is a tool to solidify that you understand fundamentals of real learning and don't lead directly. Yeah, exactly. So they might help you land an interview, but what happens in the interview is it depends on that. I think attitude to learning is more important than certs. Certs don't necessarily mean better salary, in my experience. True. There's only this one case where certifications matter is with them, the partner programs. AWS has one. So if I don't know if you're a consultant or you're a partner with AWS, you need to have 60%, 70% of your workforce certified in AWS, and then similarly in Microsoft or GCP. I don't know the exact terms, but in those cases, I think you can they really need you to be certified. Oh, let's
answer this one.
Yeah.
So my experience with the cloud certifications, I got them when they were just starting to become popular. So it was at the point where it was still significant to have them on your resume. Now everybody has them, so they don't really help you stand out. So I just kind of lucked out that I got them. My first certification was back in 2016-ish. So that was just when they were starting to take off, when it was just AWS. Yeah. I don't know if there was Azure certifications back then. Definitely not GCP.
No.
So yeah, it definitely helped me stick out. But after that, nah. It's all about what. If I could actually take a call, if I could actually talk on a call, I have the same headphones as Rishabh. Wow, Rishabh. All right, someone's in here. Hello? Hold on, let me add them to the stream. Let me do a 3. How about there?
This
Hello?
is Ankur from India. Am I audible? Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
We all love you very much. Your contents are really helping me, and I'm going to start my cloud journey very soon next month with SK Technologies, and all the love from India.
Huge congratulations on landing the job.
I'm actually shivering right now. I'm having a goosebumps, and thank you so much for letting me in.
Yeah, of course.
It's really great to see you guys in person. Yeah, this is Ankur. And
It's nice to meet you.
thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, both you and everybody out there who's helping us solve. And thank you so much for giving me the link. I was not at all hoping for it, but you just made my day.
That's awesome. Now you
made
gotta
my day.
you gotta make sure that you like the same way that we've helped you, that you do the same for others. You know, we want to kind of just encourage you to like keep that going. And you know, you never know who you can help. And just know that we're always here for you. And we're, you know, it's awesome that you're making this next step. You're learning cloud and all that kind of stuff, and you're getting into cloud. You know, we're just all very happy for you.
For sure.
And
Thank
I don't know
you
if
so
you want to
much.
hang,
Thank
you
you
want to
so
hang
much.
out, you want to talk about something specific. It's a little hard to hear you. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah.
though. Rishabh, it's
It's
a little hard to hear.
Yeah.
You're like cutting in and out just a
Mhm.
little bit. You might have. Did you freeze?
Yeah, I think
Did we lose him? I'm gonna remove him just until he comes back in. Oh, there we go. Let me send him a text. Tell him it's a little hard to hear you. It's a little hard to hear you. Cutting in and out. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. It's
You know, and it all started
the
with
amount of impact.
YouTube videos. You know,
Yeah.
this is why I tell people
YouTube videos,
try.
and Tony Hawk streams, and
Dude, remember when we did the streams were just like you? It was me and then just you in the chat.
yeah, it was fun because
There was so much less pressure. You know.
Yeah.
It was just like,
and I would just keep on like putting emojis in the chat.
He's back there. Hello.
Hello, hi.
I think that's better.
So, is this recording gonna be available later on?
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
on both
yeah.
of our channels.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh,
Maybe I don't know.
Rishabh, you can hear me?
Just give me a second.
Yeah, I can see and hear you.
Okay.
My mic is working.
I can hear him too.
Dude, I was there for your Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
No. It was Skater XL. Remember? Skater XL. We would play. I was playing that one. It was before Tony Hawk came out, and then when
Okay.
Tony Hawk came out, that's when I switched to that one. Do you remember that?
No, I remember the streams. I
Yeah.
just don't remember the game switching. I just thought you just skate in these games.
That was. Oh my gosh!
I'm not huge into like Tony Hawk.
I have no. This entire journey has just been like me just fucking trying things, man.
Mhm.
The entire just you never know what's gonna work.
Yep.
If PCs, if it's on YouTube, it's set in stone forever. Yeah. I promised that I would stop setting them until unlisted, so it'll be available for people. You pulled up something about PCs.
Yeah, I think this is when like we were talking about
PCs are also
gaming
cheaper.
and stuff, and you were talking about your graphics card. But yeah, tell me about it. I'm trying to get an AMD card for my build because I've been using the same one for the last 3 years. And today, AMD decided to do a drop at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I was in a meeting.
Of course.
Yes, and I kid you not, I opened the link at 10:20. Everything was sold out, and I was so pissed because this was like a Canadian drop thing. Like only people in Canada can order it. And I'm like, why? Like, and they were like the prices were pretty decent.
Really?
Like,
what were you looking at? Like
it was a RX 6700 or 6800 XT.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it went for like $600 Canadian.
It's not bad.
Yeah, especially if you look at eBay or Facebook Marketplace.
I looked at just not because I want to buy it because I'm trying to not spend money. But I looked at the 3090 yesterday at Best Buy. It was like $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is insane. In 15, you can buy a really good laptop for the price of that one card. What about every other thing you need to build a PC?
And like CPUs are not cheap either right now.
Yeah, what are they going for? At least like what? Like I don't know how much mine was. Let me check.
Yeah, for me, like I was looking at an AMD Ryzen 750 5000 series, whatever that is.
5600 5600.
I think it was for $500 or $400.
Okay, so the one I have is wait, no, that's not this one. It's probably it's around AMD 9. So the 7 is going for 400. So the Ryzen 7 5800 is 400, pretty decent. Then the 9 is at 750. So the one you were looking at is probably around 300 USD. So it's like what, 400 Canadian, aroundish 5. Yeah. So the one I have, So just that, and then you need RAM. You need at least
motherboard.
Do you think 16 gigs of RAM is enough in current day?
No, I see all these pro gamers, pro YouTubers who do set up builds, saying that 16 gigs is enough.
I don't feel
I built
like
a system 3 years ago, and I had 16 gigs, and it
wasn't enough.
Not enough, and now I have 48 gigs, and most of the time the utilization on the RAM it just kills me. Because I have like 60 tabs open.
I have 64. You know what? So you remember I told you about. So I bought the RAM that you told me from the brand that you told me, and I remember I told you that I can't figure out how to change the brightness of the lights.
Yep.
So it's either on at an obnoxious color or it's off. But then I was like, I wanted more RAM because that was only 16 total, or no, 32 total, and I wanted to go. I wanted to 64. Get, and I had 2 more slots, so I'm like, I might as well just go to 64. And I was like, I can buy different RAM, but it's not. It's like my OCD was be like, no, it's not. They don't look the same. It's not like it's because then it's like the other ones don't have that same strip at the RGB strip at the top. So now I have like 4 obnoxious. Let me take a picture of it and I'll show everybody. It's like it's pretty obnoxious. Like it's
So what I did is when I initially bought it, I got the same. So the brand I recommended you, I have the same one, non-RGB, but I.
You're like, you've seen some of that in. Look at that. Look at how obnoxious that is. I can't.
But I had the red color in it, and turns out I couldn't get a red one like 2 years ago when I decided to upgrade it. So I have a gray now. So my setup looks pretty ugly.
I just want to follow up with Ankur. Says greatest thing happened in life today and I had network issues. You're welcome anytime. Once you figure it out, let us know, and then we'll be happy to have you. Just keep talking. And this goes out for anybody. Everyone want to hop on and chat. What certs would you stack now to stand out? None really. I think right now it's all about projects, all about that hands-on stuff. What is he trying to get like their 10K points over again? Her trying. Oh, yes. When I was getting started with Tony Hawk, I sucked. I'm really good now. I should live stream now. Cause I could pull together those 100K combos now.
Nice.
But after a year, right?
It's going to be difficult to get hardware. So I've been reading a lot about it, just so that I can get a new card. And Taiwan said they're back at original
capacity
when, and it was shocking. So they estimated that the demands would go down due to COVID in early 2020. So they brought I think they cut their staff by 25%.
Jeez.
So they were working at 75% capacity, but the demands were 50% more than
of course.
usual demand. And that's why we had this entire shortage. And this is not only for Taiwan. I think other countries did the same because of COVID. And now they're at full capacity now. And they said by Q2 2022, they'll have all the orders met. And that same thing also goes for Sony, because Sony came out saying that we have a lot of backlog, but we might be able to fulfill orders by end of this year, and then early next year you should be able to just go into Best Buy and buy a PS5. So which is good sign, but I really hope that we are able to buy GPUs again at MSRP.
Well, I'm hoping like this new variant doesn't like put us back to where we were.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like, good morning from India. Good morning. So sad about GPUs. Yeah. For gaming, 16 gigs is plenty.
So I don't know, and Rodney, you might be like a better person to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think AMD is pretty funky when it comes to like single channel or dual channel RAM, and I think they like perform really good when it's dual channel. And that was kind of the issue that I had initially. Like I had a single 16 gig stick. And that was the reason, like I think I sold that and then bought like a dual channel 8 gig, so that would give me 16, and then again a dual channel like 32 gig sticks. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, AMD is funny in that way. Like it doesn't like single channel RAM.
I feel like with video editing, 16 gigs no matter what is not enough.
Yeah.
If you do any video content creation in general, it's just not.
Especially when we use these mirrorless cameras as our webcams.
Yeah, I feel like we're so obnoxious. But it does make a huge difference for like streaming and stuff like that. But I feel like so obnoxious when I'm on Teams calls and like everyone has like terrible cameras and it's just me in 4K.
Yeah. I get that too now because like for the last 2 days I've been using that as my webcam.
You're 5100?
Yeah.
Alf says 32 is a bit at this point, even though 16 for gaming solely.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you're strictly gaming, yeah, but again, we use our PCs for like everything, right? What do you do your video editing on?
Yeah.
Your PC?
Yep.
Your bottlenecks are in your GPU or CPU,
that is true.
RAM. I think that depends.
Yeah, and as I said, like the whole AMD thing is. Yeah, so like Antonio says, yeah, Ryzen is really stingy about single channel RAM. And yeah, you should know this if you're buying it right now, like especially with pre-builds, because right now I think the best investment to get into like PC gaming or even a good system for yourself is buy pre-builds.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I saw this amazing. I don't know how good it is in like using it, but Alienware's like at 1,200 Canadian dollars, and you get a 3060. I'm like, this is crazy.
What?
Yeah.
What? The Next, which is what I used to get mine, they have the one with a 3060, and I think it was like maybe 2,000 USD, or was it 39? No, probably like, I think it was 2,000, maybe like 1,900 USD. Which
everything. Or no, just the MSRP.
Yeah, without like tax.
Taxes. Oh man, that's expensive.
Yeah, but
yeah.
if you the card itself is like more than
that's
half
what I'm
that
saying.
price, right?
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about building it.
You brought up a good point of having laptops. So obviously you're looking at a Legion. I think it's Legion, the Lenovo, whatever they call it.
Yeah, the Legion, the gaming one. Mm-hmm.
And the laptop has like a 3070, and it has like 16 gigs of RAM. It has an AMD, whatever, the U processor, which is like basically like a mobile thing. For $1,500, I'm like, why I'm getting a new GPU when I can get a new like entire new system with like next gen processors and next gen graphics card for way less money.
To push us back into the cloud, hold on, cloud stuff. Most Azure roles. So we're big fans of like tech in general, and that's not just specific to programming. And like we geek out around cameras or the freaking audio, this Elgato freaking key light, this all this kind of stuff. Like Alf just got a new camera, Elgato cam. Rich got a new camera, a new microphone. Like we geek about tech in general. So, but anyway, most Azure roles here in Australia require you to have M365 Intune skills as well, especially for junior and mid-level cloud engineering roles. Wondering if it's the same in the US as well. I wouldn't say it's like a generalization. It's like very specific to the roles. I feel like that might be something for like the what's it called? Those places that like you like outsource your tech to these companies. What are those companies called?
MSPs.
Yes, MSPs. Like those, I think required sort of like a more of like a like wider range of like understanding of Microsoft's different clouds. Because you know you have Azure, but then you also have like Power Platform. You also have 365, all those kinds of things, right? And you never really know what you're going to troubleshoot. So under having like that wider understanding. how can we compete in cloud, like hackathon types of things? There's always hackathons. Like Microsoft hosts a lot of them, like often. There's Dev does a lot of them. Hashnode does a lot of them. Like you can find them. There's like so many out there, really. You just gotta really gotta look for them. So I mean, if you were to start in cloud now, what certs would you stack to stand out? Since everyone seems to already have AWS and Azure certs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't take certs now.
Build a solid, even one project that covers a lot of services and
build and document.
Gets you thinking on like which solution and why you pick those solutions, and document the entire journey.
Honestly, right now, do the trifecta of the Cloud Resume Challenge. Do it in AWS, do it in GCP, do it in Azure. You're going to learn way more than you could learn studying for any certification. You do those 3 projects right there.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out what project we want to sort of host with the self-taught guide. We also want to make it something that covers like a bunch of services as well, but we might have time like after this month, because like once we put these sessions like kind of behind us, if anyone's interested, we're doing sessions. I think it's in the description of the YouTube video. You can go to we have a session on the 8th where we're doing some real-time. So we're doing some .NET stuff, some Blazor WebAssembly stuff, some real-time data stuff, so it's like cloud development kind of things. If you're interested, we're going to be hosting a session on that on the 8th. And then we're containerizing that same application on the last week of September. Wednesday, it's like 26th, 29th. All right. So 29th. And in between those, I have sessions every single Wednesday where we're doing some more durable functions things. I'm working with an MVP on that kind of stuff, and then we're doing some messaging stuff. So it's like my focus for the month of September is just cloud development and Azure development, the technologies. Go to the link there, and you can register to there you go, register for that kind of stuff. These are like free things. I provide lots of resources for you to get hands on. Like come hang out. It's very much like this same vibe. Like we're just like talking tech kind of. It's a little bit more specific because we're like targeting like one lesson, one technology or whatever it is. But yeah, like that'll probably give you an idea of things that you can actually build as well. I don't think there's any certification that I would go for now to like help my resume stand out. If anything, I would do it for myself to have like a guide, a path. Like I would take, like if I was interested in like cloud development, I would go for like the 204. I'll look at the things that it asked me to learn, and I would pick those services and try to find projects with them. That's the one thing that certifications do give you, is like it's a guided path kind of thing. But no, I don't think I would stack any certs now, like because everybody has them, and like everyone sort of treats them like a game now. It's like the more you have, the more you can list in your LinkedIn profile, like the better. It's
and especially like with all these programs that Microsoft had last year or early this year too, with like free certifications. I think like everyone has them.
Also attached to these things that we're doing in September is called the 30 Days to Learn It Challenge. If you complete all the modules in the 30 Days to Learn It Challenge, you get 50% off a certification, a voucher. So, and then you spend and there's like, so I think for the developer one, it's 34 modules, and then they all have some sort of hands-on aspect to them. So if you take your time to like do them all, not just read them, but do them all, maybe document some things, and then get the 50% voucher, you're like learning and then also taking the certification. That's the way I would handle it. I wouldn't just study for a certification without like getting anything else out of it. Plus they're like, if you don't get a discount, they're pretty expensive in my opinion.
Yes. With your colleagues, like what are you doing to do today?
Like what are you going to do today?
Not right now, which I think is really good.
It's 8 p.m. right now. Keep that in mind. It's about to be 9 p.m., so it's way after work hours for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, no, I meant like in a regular day too. I don't have that many meetings. Just as we talk, just the stand-up itself, which is virtual right now. But yeah, that is like 15 minutes tops, 15 to 20 minutes, because everyone is given like 3 to 5 minutes to speak
about this.
What they did yesterday, or any cool challenges that they faced yesterday, and then what they're doing today. And that's that.
I guess it depends the day and like what I'm working on. I don't typically have many meetings. I get a lot of time to work on my stuff to myself, which is great. So just getting a solid like 3 hours of just deep work is the best feeling ever.
For sure.
We're getting close to like 2 hours, dude. It's so crazy because it doesn't feel like but
it doesn't.
But let's you want to wrap up? Anyone have final questions before we So bounce and I don't know, play something. Nope. All right, cool. Will we do this again soon? Who knows?
Yep.
We gotta
GPS
see.
is moving.
I gotta
to
move.
Manhattan. So
I don't. Well, I don't know if my internet's gonna be set up by next week.
Yeah.
So if it is, we'll stream from the new place. Maybe I'll do like a tour. I'll like move my camera around or something like that.
yeah, but otherwise, we'll definitely be there for the September 8th session.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
Register, come hang out with us. It'll be like this, but we'll be coding stuff. So
Mhm.
it might be even more useful than this. All right, cool. Peace out, everybody.